Good morning, guys. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk through a few issues, things with lab lectures. So I'm going to do this for each and every one that we're going to do. I do not intend to do the entire virtual lab for you. That is not my intention because I think that would be boring and silly. However, there are some things that I have noticed have been problems for students. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of those things so that you understand kind of what's going on. And one of the things that you'll notice when you're doing these experiments is that Alex is really picky about what gets put in and what it calls acceptable. And it's not always, in my opinion, sensible what it accepts. So sometimes when I think a certain number of significant digits should be there, it feels that number should be different. So I'll show you a couple of times when that happens. But I'm currently in Virtual Lab 2. Now, Virtual Labs 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all due the same day. And they are set up so that's the Virtual Lab tutorial to show you how to enter numbers and where some things are. Virtual Lab 2, which is a graduated cylinder. Virtual Lab 3, which is a pipette and burette. And Virtual Lab 4, which is using a balance. Now, while these show you the basics of how to use these pieces of equipment, I will tell you that there is a learning curve to actually using them. So if you come from this lab and then go into a physical lab, you will have some questions or some need to actually figure out how to use these things. Okay, that's normal and expected and perfectly okay. Now, if you never actually have to go into a physical lab, that's fine. So you know most of what you need to know from this, although it becomes much more ingrained when you use this glassware all the time. Anyway, I'm in Virtual Lab 2. It tells me to zoom in on a cylinder, and I'm supposed to add drops to this until we get to 1 milliliter. Okay, so it counts for me. Yay, it counts for me. So I go until the meniscus, the bottom of the meniscus is right at the 1 mil level. I say, okay, lab data, that's 1.00. Okay. And then the number of drops that I put in was 16. And if I do 1.00 divided by 16, I end up with 0.0625. And if I enter that number, it's perfectly happy. Now, I don't think that that's a reasonable number. Okay. Well, I mean, personally, I would think that we would only be able to go, 2 decimal places past, and so that's stretching things a little bit to do it that way. But because it's a calculation, and we have 3 significant figures here, 1, 2, 3, and 2 there, those are counting numbers, so those are considered infinitely significant. So it's limited by this one, which is 3 sig figs. This number is also 3 sig figs. Okay, so that's why it is the answer that it is. Right. Just make sure that you're paying attention to that. A couple of other things that I've seen people do with this particular experiment. If you go to the previous phase, yeah, this phase, what it will tell you is that you need to adjust this so that it's exactly level. And what that means is that you need to be able to look at it so that it's exactly level. You can't see 2 layers. So the water, you can't see the front layer and the back layer, okay? Either up or down. It needs to be exactly level. And I've seen students who don't have it exactly level when they do this. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell where the meniscus is because there is this line back here. So just pay attention to that. So the post lab for this, you may run into issues because of that, in which case we'll talk about partial credit for that particular thing. And we mentioned that Alex and D12 are both very particular about the answers that they count right on their own. That's not actually reasonable for you guys. So I can't just allow these systems to give you credit and say, nope, we're done. I need to be able to go in and look at all of that stuff. So there's a lot of hand grading that has to go in on the back end. It's not, the goal is to do that twice a week, but sometimes things get a little hectic and it doesn't always happen exactly when I anticipated that it would. So understand that will be happening. You will get feedback at some point when you see the grades may change. You may see feedback. Either one of those things may happen. So there's that part of that, and that's the only part that I'm going to show you for the virtual labs 1 through 4. So I hope that that helps. And if it doesn't, then let me know and let me know what you have questions about. And I appreciate you guys being here, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.